Hi, and welcome back to the VFW's Hip Pocket Training. My name is Tony Lowe, and I'm a VFW pre-discharge claims representative with the National Veterans Service. With me here today is Tammy Patinsky, who works as a claim consultant in our Detroit VFW service office. In today's video, we are going to talk about some common types of evidence that may help make your VA claim for benefits successful. Before we get started, we must stress that VFW cannot guarantee that your claim will be successful if you obtain and submit the evidence we talk about today. This video is only here to give you examples of a few types of evidence. To determine what evidence is needed for your claim, we recommend that you visit your local accredited VFW service officer. The most important evidence that is needed for your claim is your service treatment records and discharge paperwork. In many cases, VA will request and obtain these records on their own, but if you have copies, you should always submit them with your claim, as it will help speed along the process. Not to mention, the records that VA receives from archives may not contain everything that you have in your personal records, especially if you have the original copies. Therefore, it's always a good idea to send in whatever records you have in your possession, but be sure to make copies for yourself first.
Another very common type of evidence is private treatment records from your doctor. Private treatment records are any medical records that are held by non-military and non-VA medical providers. In most cases, you will need to contact your medical provider to obtain the records. Now, VA can request those records for you using a standard VA records release form, but be aware of the requests may take a long time to be fulfilled. Also, VA cannot and will not pay the fees that many medical facilities require for copies of records, nor can VA force a medical facility to respond to requests for records. Therefore, we recommend that if you can obtain your private medical records yourself, you should probably do so, as it will usually be faster than if VA requests them. Though it may seem like a hassle, it is always a good idea to make sure VA receives copies of your private medical records, because they could mean the difference between a grant and a denial of your claim. This is because your current private medical records may show continuity of treatment of your claimed disability as well as current diagnosis, which is needed to grant a claim for service connection.
One of the more common questions that veterans ask when they file a claim: what can I do to help my claim get approved? Well, here are a few things that you can do before you file that may help your claim be successful. First, you can visit your primary care provider and ask them to write a statement regarding the disabilities you want to claim. This statement should include current diagnosis, when you were first diagnosed, and whether the medical condition is at least as likely as not related to your service in the military, and why. You can also ask your doctor to fill out a disabilities benefits questionnaire, a DBQ, which is a standardized VA form that records the results of the medical examinations for a specific claimed medical condition. Now, there are over 60 different DBQs available for various medical conditions, so we recommend contacting your local accredited VFW service officer to determine which one you should take to your doctor. To see which DBQs are available and to get copies of those forms, you can visit VA's website or ask your local accredited service officer.
So far, we've mainly talked about medical evidence, but there are other types of evidence that may help your claim as well. For instance, lay statements can be helpful to the VA when determining when the symptoms of a medical condition first appeared, what symptoms are currently bothering you, and the circumstances surrounding the condition. Lay statements are statements related to your claimed health care condition as described by someone who is not a certified medical professional. They can be written by anyone: friends, family, people you've served with, anybody that knows your situation and is willing to describe it to the VA. However, there are a few key points to remember when writing a lay statement. First, you must make sure that the statement is credible. What we mean by credible is that the statement must be truthful and come from a reliable source. For example, if you are looking for a lay statement to help prove that you served in Vietnam, you wouldn't ask someone who didn't know you when you deployed, because they do not have first-hand knowledge of your service. Instead, you should ask someone that knew you when you deployed, such as a parent or a family member, or better yet, one of your fellow veterans that deployed with you. Another thing to remember about lay statements is to avoid diagnosing a medical condition unless that person writing the statement is a medical professional. Instead of saying that you have PTSD, have the person writing the statement say that the symptoms they have observed and how they have affected your life. Leave the diagnosis to medical professionals. The last thing to remember about lay statements is to keep these easy to read, clear, and to the point. If you have handwriting that is difficult to read, consider typing your statements or having someone else write it for you. Always keep your message clear and avoid rambling off topic. Sometimes when discussing sensitive healthcare matters, we tend to go into too much detail and try to tell the whole story. A good rule to adhere to is to try to keep any lay statement to 1 page or less. The easier it is for you to read your statement, the more effective it will be.
Now, we know we didn't discuss everything, as there are certainly other kinds of evidence that may help you succeed in your claim. Basically, anything that can demonstrate the 3 pillars of service connection that we discussed in the first hip pocket training video. If you have photos next to a burn pit in Iraq, an LES documenting hostile fire pay from Grenada, or even letters home, postmarked from Saigon, these can help demonstrate an event in service or establish a nexus to a current medical diagnosis. If you believe that you have something that will help your claim, discuss it with your accredited VFW service officer and see if it's something you should submit as evidence.
We hope we were able to answer some of your questions about evidence today and look forward to discussing other topics with you, such as what to expect when filing a claim, VA math, and how to appeal a rating decision in future videos. Please remember, it is always a good idea to visit your local accredited VFW service officer before filing your claim, as they can help you gather the evidence that can help your claim be successful. For more information about what we discussed in the video, how the VFW can help you navigate the claims process, and find an accredited VFW service officer in your area, please visit our website at www.vfw.org/NVS. Thank you for watching, and remember, no one does more for veterans.